I'm Nick Quinn and welcome to the return of Chewing the Fat. We have a fantastic autumn special for you today. We will preview the racing at Flemington on Saturday and up in Sydney. The highlight, of course, the mighty mare Black Caviar targeting her 19th straight victory. We'll be joined in the studio by Malua Racing's Troy Corstens, but before we get to all that, it gives me great pleasure to welcome my co-hosts, Edward Sadler and Natalie Hunter. How are you guys?
Very well. How are you, Edward?
Yeah, very good, Nat. Always good to be back here. It seems like a long break since the spring.
Well, actually, to me, it feels like Spring Carnival was just yesterday because all that organising with outfits and hats and tips. But we're back here again for the Autumn Carnival.
I had a lot of problem, Nick, too, organising my outfits and hats.
Yeah, we'll get to that later on, Edward, your problem. But, I mean, Natalie, obviously you've been travelling the world over the summer, checking out horse racing over all different parts of the world. What did you make from your studies over there?
I'm really impressed, but I'd have to say that Australia is definitely at the forefront of racing. So thanks for asking me, though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm more interested in Nick's summer, actually. What did you get up to?
Yeah, me too.
No, obviously I just spent the whole time studying the form, trying to find a winner for when the show returns. Very excited to see Helmet returning this Saturday.
I know, it's ironic that he makes his return just as you do back on TV.
Are you making a comparison between my hair and Helmet?
Never.
I thought we made that joke once before.
Very harsh, but it's going to be a fantastic autumn. Many racing purists believe that the Autumn Carnival is stronger than the Spring Carnival, and I think if you have a look at just some of the races this Saturday, it's easy to see why.
Well, definitely. I mean, it's where really the sprinters get to shine. Of course, you got the William Reid, the Newmarket, the Lightning, the Oakley Plate, and that's just in Melbourne, really. And so the stayers take precedence over the spring, but our sprinting stocks are obviously, at the moment anyway, much stronger than our staying stock. So we're really seeing the best horses in Australia going around. And the exciting thing is, too, they start here and then their journeys head to either Adelaide or more likely Sydney. And then the way things are going now with the globalisation of racing, you've got Dubai and Ascot down the track. So it's sort of the start of a really exciting 6 months of racing.
Absolutely, and you wouldn't be surprised to see as many as 6 Australian horses head overseas after this carnival for overseas campaigns, headed of course by Black Caviar. Everyone's very excited this Saturday to get to Caulfield and see her along, so it's going to be sensational. Heading to Flemington this week and then maybe Caulfield the week after.
You're a week behind or
a week
ahead,
ahead.
depend on
Getting
what you want.
excited. Well, we're going to take a break here on Chewing the Fat. When we return, we're going to be joined on the couch by Troy Corstens. And remember, you're watching Chewing the Fat thanks to Sporting Bet. Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome our studio guest, Troy Corstens. How are you, Troy?
Good, thanks, Nick.
And obviously a very big weekend for yourself and the stable heading into Saturday.
Yeah, really looking forward to Saturday. We've got the 3 runners, so should be good, and one at Geelong, actually.
And is there an early fancy on Saturday, one you're hoping can give a good account of itself?
I reckon Under the Hat's probably our best for the races on Saturday. He was a really good run last start, and saying that, it is a tough field, so we've got 3 really good chances on Saturday, so it's nice.
Obviously disappointing Troy's sister Madly not coming up for Saturday. How serious is the issue?
Look, Edward, it's not real serious. We've got a little bruising in her heel, so, I think sort of 3, 4, 5 days we'll get over that. So it's just a matter of the farrier getting her right and that bruising coming out of her heel, and then we can push on and give her a couple of gallops, and we'll make the decision whether we're going to run her in the Newmarket or wait for the William Reid.
And one advantage, not that there's ever an advantage a horse missing a race, but obviously she would have clashed with Black Caviar, and obviously that would have been a huge ask. As a result, though, now she's been put back a week. She might not clash with Black Caviar, so could it be a blessing in disguise sort of thing?
Yes and no. Like we've set her for this race for a long time, and what we found out that Black Caviar was going to run, probably a week or so ago or 2 weeks ago, And we didn't deviate from the race. We always wanted to run her first up in that, and then so she'd be going into the Newmarket second up. So it wasn't sort of, you don't, when you've got a Group 1 horse like Sister Madly, you don't race, you don't plan her campaign around Black Caviar. So we were going to go full steam ahead anyway.
And obviously she had a sensational spring carnival, Sister Madly. Must have been very exciting to win some of those big races on the feature days.
Yeah, the Salinger was very, very special. It was, it was John and I's first Group 2 win, and to do it for Kevin Maloney and Sedgen Ho Stud was outstanding. To get it to be able to get a mare like that come through the system, it doesn't happen very often. So it's great.
And obviously with the mares, you've really got to enjoy them while they last because they don't have the racing longevity of the geldings. How much longer do you think we'll get to see Sister Madly on the racetrack?
It's really up to her. As long as she's performing, we've got some grand plans for her if she can come up and be right. But we're talking sort of an overseas trip if it comes off, and they're not in a rush to breed with her, but obviously they are a breeding operation. So I'd suggest if she's going well, we'd probably get another season with her. But if there's one little hint, Nick, she'll be out at the end of the year and off to the paddock.
So Dubai and Escota options?
We'll look at Dubai. I want to clarify that we're looking at the race that Sepoy and Black Caviar aren't running in over there. So there's an Alcos sprint over 1,000 metres on the turf. It's a Group 1, so we'd run in that. And then in England, we'd run in the King's Stand, which neither are going to run in either. So, and it's a 1,000 metre Group 1 too. So we try and then we would try and dodge Black Caviar over there, but it's, if you're going to go all the way over there, it's no use running into Black Caviar.
Obviously another top filly you're involved with too on Saturday, Mosheen. Tell us a bit about her. And
yeah,
how that all started.
I'm actually not involved anymore. You'll see a new ownership change coming up on Saturday, and I'm out, and Katsumi Yoshida's replaced me, so it's just a fair replacement. So. But she's been fantastic for Phil Sly, and we helped broker the deal that we sold half to Katsumi Yoshida, and Mr. Yoshida's coming out on Saturday for the races, so it's going to be a great day.
Now, you've had success in the past with Starspangledbanner, an absolute champion sprinter who went overseas and achieved things overseas. You touched on Sister Madly might be heading overseas. Tell us a bit about how difficult it is to take a horse overseas.
I've actually never done it myself, but when you're at home, you've got everything that you need. Your feed's the same, your daily routine's exactly the same. You've got your same track rider, all your staff do the same. As soon as you go overseas, you're in a different environment, different feed, different riders. So you've got all those elements, but I think some horses either really take to it and others don't. So it's really about the horse and whether they fit right in with the plans and where you're heading.
Just getting back to Starspangledbanner, it was of course 2 years ago on Lightning Stakes Day you sold him. Was that a tough decision to make, or was the money just that good you couldn't refuse?
That day was probably one of the hardest days of my life. We just had, there were 32 people involved in the ownership of the horse, and we had a meeting sort of an hour before the Lightning Stakes itself, where the 32 people signed out of the horse and Coolmore signed into the horse, and it was one of the most stressful days of my life. But it came off, and the 10 million. It was a lot of money, so we thought we sold well. Coolmore thought they bought well, and at the time it was fantastic. Unfortunately, he's having a few little issues now. So, but at the time it was a great deal for all involved.
So very much a last minute deal then.
Yeah, very much. It was a very, very stressful day.
And how did you put that to the owners? Did you call them in and say, "Look, guys, we've been offered this. I suggest we sell," or did you leave it up to them?
It was actually Brad Spicer and I put the deal together. So I was dealing with Coolmore, and Brad Spicer was dealing with his owners because it was his syndication. So I'd basically get an offer off Coolmore, and I'd go to Brad, and Brad would go to. I don't think he went to 31 individual owners, but virtually. I think they were all sort of right up to date with exactly what we were getting offered and what was on the table. And basically they just had to come back to Brad and say yay or nay, and then I'd go back and say, righto, it's not quite right, we need this or we want this. And it took every bit of a week to really get it flattened out. And we were in New Zealand at the time, I can tell you. And then we had one 5% owner that didn't want to sell, and it was going to ruin it for all the others. So it was a really hard time.
Well, at least the main thing is the deal got done and the horse went on to win in England, so it went to be a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, it was great, and we won the Oakley Plate as well under the new banner with Dad Training. So it was a real buzz, and the old owners were still there, and the owners, part of the way we sold him, they were entitled to the prize money in the Oakley Plate, so they still got that as well, which was nice.
What a fantastic party gift that was.
Yeah, I think they lifted the grandstand off at Caulfield that day.
Yeah, they did. I copped a bit of flack actually because I celebrate too hard, but it was a really good
But
time.
you've got to enjoy those moments because, as you know, racing's a game of ups and downs, and there generally are more downs than ups, so you do have to enjoy those ups.
Yeah, very much so. It's a tough game, Edward, and you know, you're getting kicked in the teeth all the time, so that's why I do celebrate so hard when we do get something come off like that.
And the person kicking in the teeth, John Sadler. Tell us a bit about Malua Racing and how the concept started up, and sort of what's the point of difference, because it's a very competitive environment that you're operating in.
Yeah, it is. We put John was filling in for a little while Dad had a bit of a suspension, and I came up with the idea that I really wanted to work with John and Dad, and I tried to put a three-way partnership together. We couldn't quite pull that off, but I was still very, very keen to go and do something with John. So we got together with David Trustler, our business partner, and we brought about Malua Racing.
Is he just as bad at home as he is at the stables?
You know what? I think I handle him quite well. He's a very unique individual, and he's quite eccentric in his ways. And I think that if you can harness that, you know, John Sadler is what he is. He's a perfectionist, and he's a bloody good horse trainer. So I deal with it as I can, and you know, I try and push him into the stuff that he really likes doing, and then all the other stuff that he doesn't like doing, I try and take over that for him.
I was told they were the questions I could ask the other night at dinner.
So for people at home who might be interested in taking a share in a horse or buying a horse, how would they go about getting involved with Malua Racing?
Nick, just jump on the website, and we've got a few up for offer on there, and you know, email me or give me a call, and I'm more than happy to put them in something.
So what is the website?
It's www.maluaracing.com.au.
Beautiful. And another thing you've been very active with is the social media through the Twitter, which a lot of punters have absolutely loved, because you've done things like talk about race tactics with your horses on the Twitter. So it really does pay to follow you on Twitter. Is that something you're really keen to get involved with, more of the social media?
Yeah, very much so, John. I actually, before I tweet anything, I always talk to John. So we always discuss whether we should be putting it out there, and we try and really sort of analyse things before we do send them out. But we want to be open. You know, we're a stable that's not trying to hide things. So by doing it on Twitter, you know, it's a public forum and everyone gets to see it.
Everyone's a winner. So you touched on, you've got a couple of runners over the weekend, but you think under the hat might be your best for the weekend at Flemington?
Yeah, he's a horse that's quite close to my heart because he's by Helena. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. But I do think it was a really good run last start, and he'll perform well on Saturday.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck there, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Nick.
We're going to take a break on Chewing the Fat. When we return, we're going to find you a winner at Sydney and at Flemington.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. The Coolmore Lightning Stakes at Group 1 level over 1,000 metres is the feature race on the program at Flemington this weekend, with Black Caviar looking to notch up win number 19. Let's have a look at the markets. Starting off with Black Caviar, who's the favourite at $1.10, followed by Haylist at $9 and Fox Wedge at $17. Boys, need to ask what you think?
Obviously, I think Black Caviar will be winning her 19th race from as many starts. The world's unluckiest horse, Haylist. If it wasn't for Black Caviar, we'd be talking about Haylist the way we talk about Black Caviar. He's a sensational galloper. I think he'll run second. And I've got Buffering running third. That'll be my trifecta.
I actually think they're really good odds for Black Caviar, $1.10. I think everyone should just, if you're interested in racing even slightly, you should go to Flemington and again the Caulfield perhaps the following week, just to witness racing history, because this is something we're never ever going to see again in our lifetimes. She's something exceptional. I think people have forgotten just how good Haylist is. He was terrific in the spring of 2010 before he had injury issues. This is Black Caviar's hardest race for mine since the TJ Smith, when she had to make up 5 lengths on the turn against Haylist and ran him down and beat him by 3 lengths. You know, buffering, Fox Wedge. There's a lot of good horse Haylist, as I mentioned before. There are lots of good sprinters in this race. It's just going to show how good she is.
But I think you're right about Black Caviar. I heard her described during the week as one of Australia's great athletes, and that's really what she is. She is a horse, of course, but that's what Australians do best. We support our athletes. Look at Bernard Tomic, Kathy Freeman. We show up and we support them, so it'd be great to have everybody out there.
Yeah, Nat, I get more of a thrill watching her than I do any other horse on the racetrack. She's something magnificent, and it's really special to see. Let's have a look to see what the contenders for this year's Lightning Stakes had to say in the lead up to the race. Luke, a terrific win by Black Caviar here on Saturday, and she backs up again this Saturday in the Lightning.
Yeah, she's got a sort of she's ticked all the boxes so far. She came through that run pretty good. So, look, if she takes her place on Saturday, it'll be because the camp's 100% confident she's come through that run in the weekend. Temple of Boom in the Lightning Stakes on Saturday, a horse with a proven liking for the straight.
Yeah, he does race well up the straight. He trialled well the other morning. No pressure. He's pretty fit, and he just had a stretch last Friday up the straight and worked quite well.
Lone Rock runs in the Lightning Stakes on Saturday. How she came back from the break?
We're really happy with her the way she's gone, her general condition. She trialled down the straight of Flemington last Friday. Wasn't overextended, but really pleased with her. So overall we're happy, but 1000's not her trip, and she's never been super effective first up. So we're actually heading towards a new market. So looking for a forward showing, but expecting that the 1000 will be a bit sharp for her.
Temple of Boom runs on Saturday in the Lightning. How'd he come off the break?
Yeah, no, he's had a great preparation. We've set him for these 2 races, the Lightning and the Newmarket, and so far preparation's been faultless.
Okay, let's move on to the Vanity Stakes, over 1,400 metres for the 3-year-old fillies. Oaks winner Mosheen was very impressive last time, and the market suggests she should win again this time. Let's have a look at that market. Starting off with Mosheen at $1.80, Great Dame at $6, Shopaholic at $7, and Colleen at $7.50. Guys, what do you think?
Well, absolutely. We all know what a class act she is, winning the Oaks last campaign, returning with an impressive win. I think she'll win again. The opposition's probably easier than what she beat first up at Caulfield. I think the best way to approach the day from a punting perspective is to take her in a double with Helmet, get yourself about $3.65, and I think that's a great way to nearly times your money by 4.
Sounds like you've already taken that double, Nick. No, look, she beat better opposition. I agree, this is a rare time, but I agree 100% with what you said there. She beat better opposition at Caulfield. A horse like that's the one I've got a decent opinion of. And so I think she should beat these very easily. Decent push from Paul Snowden earlier about his filly in the race, Kayleen, but she is being thrown in the deep and they're wanting just to run her in this race to test her against those quality fillies. Here's what Mosheen's trainer, Robert Smurden, had to say at track work earlier in the week. Mosheen runs in the Vanity. How did she come off that win?
Really good. She went into it. She's been good all this off a short break. She's been really good, and her work. She worked on the course proper Caulfield Saturday morning and Steeple this morning, and she's Danny Nicklick rides all her fast work, and he's really happy with her, and everything about her at home is good. So we're pretty happy.
Kayline resuming from a spell.
Nice filly. She's done plenty of work. She's had plenty of work under her belt as well. Mosheen's the flying ointment there for her. So she's the yardstick, and if she can perform well on the back of her, or run well, she's in with a great campaign.
I don't think we need to go through our selections for this race. We're all on the same page. We've all gone with Mosheen. Okay, finally, Caulfield Guineas winner Helmet has his first run for the autumn in the CS Hayes Stakes. Let's take a quick look at the market. Helmet the favourite at $1.70. That's the one at $6, and De Circles at $8.50. Nick, what did you think?
I think Helmet is obviously the horse to beat on Saturday and going forward to the Guineas, but I really like That's the One as a galloper. Has been $67 into 41 to win the Guineas. I think the $41 still represents tremendous value. If you wanted to have a bet, I'd definitely probably back Helmet on Saturday, but have a 5 each way on That's the One for the Guineas, because if That's the One runs a fast finishing second, I reckon he'll start second favourite in the Guineas.
I reckon this is a better race than the fillies race. I think horses I like that's the one as you mentioned. I also like De Circles. I think he's a horse with a bit of ability. And look for Sabrage, the third place getter in the Derby, to be running home late. The race probably isn't going to be run. They'll go at a reasonable tempo, but he's an AJC Derby sort of horse. He's going to be looking for a lot further than the 1400. But look, Helmet's the best. Outside of Sepoy for mine anyway, Helmet's the best 3-year-old in the country, and he should prove that again on Saturday.
Has De Circles done enough to live up to the hype?
I think he's going okay. I think he's got the ability. He's not going to be a match for Helmet, but he's definitely got ability.
Closely related to superstars such as Elstrom and Haradason, there's always
been a
going to be
good
that
family.
pressure. It's been a fantastic family.
Anyway, let's have a look to see what Paul Snowden had to say about Helmet lining up in the CS Hayes Stakes. Well, Paul, exciting day on Saturday with the return of Helmet.
Yeah, look, he's an exciting horse, Edward, and he's done everything right for us this time through, and looking forward to getting to the races again.
Sabrage runs at Flemington on Saturday. How's he come off the break?
Yeah, look, pretty good, Edward. Look, we aimed to run him last week, but he had an elevated temperature, so rather than risk it, we decided to put him back a week. All going well, he goes from here to the Australian Guineas, so as long as we get this run into him on Saturday, we'll be on target. Taxi Driver broke through with a maiden win at Moonee Valley.
Yeah, it was a good win. You know, very few horses sit 3 deep facing the breeze and pull away like he did. You know, the quality of opposition mightn't have been so strong, but it was a pretty serious win that night. But gee, he's up against it with, you know, we're a Class 1 horse up against a Caulfield Guineas winner at, you know, set weights. It won't be easy to get close to them, that's for sure.
All right, again, we're all on the same page. We've all chosen Helmet for this one. Okay, time for a quick break now, and when we return, we will take a look at all the feature races in Sydney this weekend. Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. Well, racing this weekend in Sydney heads to Warwick Farm with 3 Group 2 races on the cards. First of all, let's have a look at the Light Fingers Stakes, where speedy filly Karuta Queen takes on last year's Flight Stakes winner Streamer. Okay, here's the market. Starting off with Streamer and Karuta Queen, who are equal favourites at $3.60, followed by Hallowell Bell at $10 and Alta at $12. Boys, who do you like in this race?
Well, I don't like Karuta Queen at the odds. I know she missed the kick last Saturday, but I thought she was disappointing apart from that. Probably had every chance the start before she ran in Melbourne last time when she was beaten by African Pulse. So I've now got a little bit of a question mark over Karuta Queen. At the odds, I'm very keen on Hallowell Bell on an each-way price. Back in the Gay Waterhouse camp, we all know how well Gay horses go fresh, and I think she'll be very hard to beat.
I really like Streamer from the spring, just really impressive and thrashed Hallowell Bell last time in the Flight Stakes. And no coming back to 1200, but I think she's a really classy filly. I like her very much.
What are your thoughts on Karuta Queen?
I know you say, look, her last 2 have been a little bit disappointing. I'm going on a run against Black Caviar and the Scalacci, and I'll take her also on that win at Moonee Valley on Cox Plate Day. They were both very impressive. They showed what she's made of. But look, they're both at the same price, and given that, I'm leaning to Streamer.
Okay, and I like Hallowell Bell.
Any reason for that, Nat?
I just like her. Like the name, to be honest. Okay, one of the stars of the spring, Malua Racing, makes his first racetrack appearance in the Royal Sovereign Stakes over 1,200 metres. Let's take a quick look at the market. Okay, Malua Racing at $2.60, Moment of Change at $3.40, and Hot Schnitzel at $8.
Malua Racing, clearly the class horse in the race. We've seen how brilliant he is. Knocked off Helmet and Smart Missile last campaign over an unsuitable distance. I think this horse is in for a huge campaign. My early tip for the Doncaster handicap, and I think can make a winning return on Saturday.
And he did win over this course and distance early in his campaign last time out, so I think he's got the class factor. I actually think he's more of a miler, to be honest. I think he won the Amy Vars against very ordinary opposition, and he had enough and couldn't stay by the time he got to the Derby. But he's a very talented horse, Malua Racing. Moment of Change, a horse that's got quite a rap on it. Only had the 2 starts, but Very impressive in both of them from the Peter Moody stable. And there's a couple in it also. Dr. Doom and Darcy Big Good. Their stay is resuming. Dr. Doom, obviously winner of the Spring Champion during the spring, but they're both going to be looking for further than the 1200 that they'll get on Saturday. But look, they're horses to look out for from an AJC Derby perspective in a couple of months' time.
All right, just to recap everyone's tips there, I think we're all going for Malua Racing. Is that right?
It's been a bit one-sided, the tipping this week.
It has. We haven't given much variety, have we?
I think Nick Quinn's got something for us, though, after the break with his best bet and best roughie, though. So,
is that right, Nick?
And he left on a good note, too, secret liaison at Sandown at, what, $11, Nick?
$26 if you don't mind on the fixed
Wow.
odds.
Okay, we're off to a break, but don't go away because when we come back, we'll wrap up the show and have week 1 of our segment Tip Against Nick. Do you like the idea for that segment, Edward?
I'm the creator of it, Nat.
Well, then you do like the
I
idea.
do, yes. That's the short answer.
We'll see you soon.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
One of the exciting new initiatives of Season 2 of Chewing the Fat is that you, as a viewer, can log on and actually tip against Nick. So if you think you've got what it takes to beat him in the tipping, then make sure you log on to our Facebook page and register to be a contestant. There's big prizes, I'm told, too. And this week, our lucky tipster is Kyra Lachlan from Kerrang. So good luck, Kyra. I hope that you can beat Nick.
We'll all be cheering for Kyra.
Definitely.
Actually.
I think we will be too.
I'm going to be playing the villain every week in this game, I fear.
It's now time to wrap up the show, but before we do, let's have a bit of a recap of our best bets and our best roughies for the weekend. Nick, starting with you.
I've got my best bet for the program, Helmet, and my best roughie, I think at about the $10 mark on the each way odds. Better be short in the lucky last at Flemington.
I've gone for Mo Sheen as my best bet of the day, so I'm half of Nick's double there. And Agrippa in the 7th is my best roughie.
Okay, my best bet is Malua Racing, and my best roughie is Montana Flyer. And we've got Breeze as well. Breeze gone with best bet Mo Sheen, and her best roughie is The Good Wife. I like The Good Wife too.
Lovely. Now, before we go though, Edward, I believe you're doing a very honourable cause by doing a charity event upcoming. Tell us about that.
Yeah, 4 tracks for kids, myself and Brie Lachlan representing Chewing the Fat. So great opportunity, obviously, to promote DOXA and the terrific work they do supporting underprivileged children. All the proceeds from the 4 tracks for kids go to DOXA. So a really good cause, and if people get behind it, log on to my Twitter page and you can have all the details of there, Edward Sadler. So yeah, if you could support me, that'd be great to help me support the underprivileged kids.
Definitely.
Well, that's a wonderful cause there, Edward, so congratulations. And it's been a wonderful first show back for Chewing the Fat, fresh from a spell. And don't forget to join us again next week. We're going to do our Blue Diamond preview. We're going to be joined in the studio by a special guest and also by Steph Greentel, who's going to take us through the Inglis Melbourne sales. So who knows, we might see the next Black Caviar. Speaking of Black Caviar, don't hesitate. Get out there to see her take on Hayley's this Saturday. She's a superstar. You might never get the chance to see her again. Get out there, cheer her home, cheer home Helmet. You've been watching Chewing the Fat thanks to Sporting Bet, and we'll see you again next week.
This program is proudly brought to you by Sporting Bet.
This has been a Thorough Media production.